Disaster in Sweden. What if the unthinkable happened in your community? On February 4th, 2025, a quiet city in Sweden became the site of the deadliest attack in the country's history. 10 innocent lives were taken in a shocking shooting at an adult education center. How did this tragedy unfold, and what drove the gunman to commit such an unimaginable act? What does this mean for the safety of educational institutions in Sweden and around the world? The bloodiest shooting in Swedish history occurred on February 4th, 2025, when a terrible and frightening act of violence shook the peaceful city of Örebro. A shooting at an adult education facility claimed the lives of at least 10 individuals, leaving Sweden in shock and grief. In addition to wreaking havoc on the victims' families, the incident raised serious concerns about the nation's escalating problems with crime, illicit firearms, and public safety protocols. This unheard-of catastrophe occurred at Campus Kristersson, a school in Örebro where a large number of students, both adults and immigrants, pursuing higher education, were acquiring critical skills in the hopes of bettering their lives. The Kristersson school attack takes place. Situated in Örebro, a city approximately 200 kilometers, 125 miles, west of Stockholm, Campus Kristersson caters to adult learners who either did not finish their formal education or who want to improve their Swedish language proficiency in order to access better prospects in the nation. Students at the school are diverse and strive for both professional and personal development. They include immigrants and people with impairments. Shortly after students returned from their lunch break, at approximately 12:33 p.m. local time, the shooting took place. Witnesses described the terrifying moment when the shooter opened fire inside the school, sending staff and pupils into a panic. Many teachers and kids attempted to flee the building in an effort to save their lives during the ensuing turmoil. In an interview with Reuters, Maria Pagado, a 54-year-old instructor at the school, detailed the incident. Pagado claimed that while she was teaching, someone abruptly opened her classroom door and yelled for everyone to leave. "I took all my 15 students out into the hallway and we started running," she said. "I heard 2 bullets after that, but we managed to escape. We were near the entrance to the school." Her first instinct was to send her students to safety, and happily they were able to avoid the immediate threat. She realized how serious the situation was when she witnessed others hauling injured people out of the building as she ran. Although Swedish authorities later revealed that the shooter is thought to be among those dead, the name of the gunman is still unknown. Law enforcement has claimed that they believe the shooter acted alone and that there is no proof of terrorism being involved, even if specifics regarding the shooter's background and motivations are still being investigated. Since then, the police have begun a comprehensive investigation to piece together what happened, interviewing witnesses, inspecting the school grounds, and attempting to ascertain the gunman's motivations. Shortly after the incident, Roberto Ede Forrest, the police chief, announced that 10 individuals had been confirmed dead at a press conference. The whole country has been rocked by the occurrence. Although there has been a recent increase in gang-related crime-related violence in Sweden, such attacks are uncommon, particularly at educational institutions. Although criminal gangs have been the main source of the gun violence that has swept the nation in recent years, the Kristersson tragedy represents a significant change in the character of public violence. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson described the incident as very painful for the whole of Sweden and conveyed the country's collective sorrow and incredulity. Kristersson told reporters that the attack was the worst mass shooting in Swedish history. The Swedish royal family's sincere sympathies served as a reminder of the emotional toll the attack placed on the Swedish people, who have long viewed them as a symbol of strength and solidarity for the country. In addition, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, said, "In this dark hour, we stand with the people of Sweden." Condolences and expressions of support were also offered by international leaders, including those from neighboring European countries, highlighting the sense of solidarity and shared pain that such catastrophes elicit beyond national boundaries. Sweden's battles against gun violence. Sweden has long been considered one of Europe's safest and most forward-thinking nations. Compared to other European countries, it has generally had low crime rates, especially when it comes to gun violence. However, Sweden has experienced a concerning increase in gun-related violence in recent years, which is primarily attributable to the growth of gang violence. With illegal firearms being more widely available, this problem has gotten worse, and the nation currently has one of the highest per capita rates of gun violence in the EU. Even while a lot of people in Sweden possess guns, mostly for hunting, illicit weapons are rapidly ending up in the hands of criminal organizations. Especially in places like Stockholm and Gothenburg, these gangs frequently use guns to resolve conflicts or increase their grip over particular neighborhoods, despite the fact that this wave of violence has been a serious challenge for Sweden's police. The tragedy at Risbergska is the most devastating attack the nation has witnessed in recent memory, and fatal shootings at educational institutions are extremely concerning. 10 tragic occurrences occurred at Swedish schools between 2010 and 2022, but none had been as devastating as this one. Up until recently, the Swedish educational system, which is renowned for its inclusive policies and excellent standards, had been mainly shielded from this kind of severe violence. A 21-year-old masked attacker with racist intentions killed a teaching assistant and a small kid in a horrific attack in 2015, examining the cause, an increasing issue in Sweden. Swedish officials cautioned against making assumptions about the gunman's motivations at the time of the crime. Police swiftly ruled out terrorism while the inquiry was still in its early stages, claiming that there was no immediate proof that the incident was the result of political or religious fanaticism. Since police had never heard of the shooter before, they had to look into other possibilities, such as connections to personal grudges, mental health conditions, or other probable reasons for the crime. Swedish police stressed that they were taking the matter very seriously and were working to piece together all the evidence that was available in order to create a more complete picture. The suspected gunman had not previously been known to police. Forrest stated, "We are investigating every lead and making sure to leave no stone unturned." Swedish police enforcement opened a case on several accusations, including murder, arson, and an aggravated weapons offense, in addition to looking into the reasons for the attack. Although not much was said about what they might have found there, the police also visited the suspect's house to follow up on leads. The repercussions. Looking for solutions. The Swedish public and government are left to deal with challenging issues as investigations continue. What drove the shooter to do such a heinous act of violence? Could this catastrophe have been avoided with any warning? Is there anything Sweden can do to stop this kind of brutality from happening again? The larger problem of gun violence, which has afflicted the country in recent years, is also being addressed. Despite Sweden's relatively strong gun restrictions, the country has seen an increase in violence due to the increased prevalence of illegal weapons, which are frequently utilized by criminal groups. The mass shooting in Örebro shows how persistent the problem is and how susceptible public areas are to violent attacks. Despite the government's efforts to combat gang violence, which include cracking down on illegal firearms and bolstering law enforcement, Swedish authorities' attempts to address gun violence and stop other deaths will surely come under more scrutiny in the wake of the shooting. As more information becomes available, the country hopes to learn more about the motivations behind the shooter's actions. The investigation into the Örebro attack is still underway. Sweden is still in grief as it works to heal after the horrific shooting in Örebro. The country has been rocked by the bloodiest attack in its history, and issues like gun violence, public safety, and school security are still very much in the spotlight. It is evident how deeply the victims' relatives, the school students and staff, and the Swedish people as a whole are grieving. Sweden will surely consider this tragedy, its causes, and its future in the days and weeks ahead. The country must currently deal with the broader problem of violence and its underlying causes while simultaneously grieving the loss of 10 innocent lives. As the nation works to restore unity, safety, and trust following an unfathomable loss, it will have to face this darkness head-on. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more updates on this tragic event and its aftermath.